I watched Rob's video the other night. You talked about it before, I think, on the podcast. Basically, you sold an X5 and the guy was just trying everything on.
He basically slandered me all over Facebook. Charlatan, scam artist. He called me, can you bleep over this? He called me certain names that we won't repeat on here. And then sponsored it, paid for it as an advertisement on Facebook. Absolutely.
But then
brutal.
after they settled it and whatever, and then he was trying to cut, and I just yeah. This is when you're just trying to earn an honest living. I'm just like, this is where my
stress levels.
I better not say what you'd like to do to him, you know.
Yeah, and I got plenty of offers, and I've had plenty of offers since.
What had happened with the car? Was it a cripple?
Basically, what happened? The car was absolutely fine when I sold it. Yeah, same old story, isn't it? Sold it to this bloke. It was obviously a bit more of a detailed video, but to paraphrase, he bought it, put a little bit on finance. He had a car business himself, which was a BMW specialist, and I've purposely not mentioned who it is because I just don't want to start it all off again. Basically bought it, tried to put in a claim for discs and pads from his own business, saying that they weren't right through the finance company, so he's playing the game on that one. And then there was an issue with the car, and I still don't know whether or not it's something he did or whether it was something that was just happened with the car, and basically just ran us through the mill, took us to court. He batters all over social media. He actually came up here as well one time with a couple of blokes. I was in at the time and had to shut it down. I just watched him on the cameras and thought, I'm just not getting involved in this. And I've got the peacemaker. But it wasn't time. So, but it just went on for ages. It was just a really, really messy situation. And he's ended up doing it to a couple of other dealers who I've been in touch with subsequently. And this is just what this guy does. So there's obviously a lot more to the story, but yeah, nasty piece of work.
It never seems to amaze me the amount of people who are out there who just do such odd things that you just think there's something not quite right.
Yeah.
But just, we've got our fanatic, haven't we, in the sort of dealer chat thing, who messages all of us and tells us where we're all going wrong and going to report us for X, Y, or Z or whatever.
I've been lucky so far.
You've been lucky so far, but yeah.
I'm sitting tight.
If you're listening, I'm sure you probably are, our special fan, Theo would like some attention this time, please.
No.
Feeling left out, isn't it?
I just don't understand who goes through the effort of, it's like some of the comments I get. People get upset about stuff and they leave comments on YouTube videos. You just think, people are weird, aren't they? People are just weird. That's something they don't really say much more than that, but just people who go out of their way to just rip people off like that. See the thing with the guy, I know James Chops did a video on it, the guy who was deliberately buying Teslas and setting them up so they were supposedly a distance sale, and he'd keep them for a year, knowing that if they didn't give him his 2 weeks, if you've bought it with 2 weeks, you say, if you bought it at distance, you get 2 weeks to return it. If you don't let them know, they get a year and 2 weeks. And he knew this. The guy was like a trained lawyer or whatever. And he would wait a year and then be like, you didn't tell me, so I want to return the car for a full refund.
Yeah, they did it. I think it was a solicitor's company. And from what I hear, I think they did it 3 times.
Yeah, he did it about 3 times and he got away with it. But the 4th time, the judge was just like, fuck off, mate. Because he bought it. He turned up and picked it up in person, but he was being really cagey. He was like, yeah, I'd like to pay fully in advance and sign all the paperwork remotely, just so it's nice and a quick, easy collection sort of thing. And then a year later, when the car had gone down by like £25,000 and he'd put God knows how many miles on it, he was like, oh yeah, it was a distance sale and you didn't tell me about it. And they're like, no, it wasn't. And luckily the judge sided with the car dealer, and they actually got awarded like 30 odd grand or something.
It was really strange when that all went, obviously when COVID started and it all went to those distance sales, and nobody knew the exact rules, I don't think. We were sort of making it up as we were going along, trying to get it right. And I don't know. Yeah, I think there was a lot of people that probably got burnt with it.
I think there is a caveat on it, though. So I know a lad in Bradford. So this will be all right. And basically, apparently, because the proportion of the sales that he does via distance are nominal and don't make up the bigger part of his business, you can opt out of distance sales, apparently. So I'm not sure this is... Basically, that's what he tells his customers. So And he seems to be
There's
all
an
right with it.
article, I think, on Car Dealer Mag, and you'll go and see all the details. Basically, don't take a deposit, take a reservation fee. And I think technically you're meant to refund that and then take the payment. But also, you kind of like need to, some people have got it on there, because they won because they didn't have anywhere on their website that said, we do distance sales or you can have it delivered. So that kind of leans into the fact that it was distance sales. Like, clearly they weren't. You were just making assumptions. I don't know,
It's messy.
people are weird.
This chap then, Rob, what have you done with him? Like, are you not, is he out of your life now, or is he still in your life?
He actually made a threat when he left court the last time we saw each other, saying something along the lines of, it's plan B now, lads, while he was on his phone, etc., etc. And this is something that the judge heard, I heard, the solicitor heard, everybody heard it. And I just thought the sort of person to say that probably isn't the sort of person to do it. But if anything happens, we know who it is, because I've never had a fallout with anyone else. So I've been kind of, the problem with these situations is when your mates get involved, and because of the area that I've kind of grown up in, I'm not a big hard man, but a lot of the people I hang around with or used to hang around with are, and there's, people are kind of making suggestions about different ways to deal with it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's done. He still owes me money. I'm not going to push for it. I'm not going to push for the slander and the libel and all that sort of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. But if anything happens, we know it's not done. But I just don't want to go there.
If you come into work and all your goldfish are on the floor, you're going to...
That happened once. I put them... I was transferring tropical fish tanks and I put them all in a bucket. I put a heater in the bucket just to kind of... It was a long story, but 2 weren't getting on. So I bought another tank to try and sort of separate them. And I left the heater in the bucket overnight and I'd not set the temperature right. I came in the next morning and they were all on the floor because they just had enough and jumped out the bucket. It was grim. It was grim. My missus was very upset.
I'm not going to have you back on the podcast, Rob. We can't have all this. It's all going to be cut out.
Let's hope there's no from the RSPCA, isn't it?
Hey, these things happen.
Dave's dog in the boot story was the limit, I think.
Oh, did I get put out? I didn't know I could put out.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But yeah, well, I had a bit of a nightmare on Saturday. So I went to Krakow for a weekend. Only got back yesterday, and when you're tired, that's when you always make mistakes, don't you? That's when you always like bugger up. And basically, I got to Krakow, and I've been putting loads of adverts on Instagram and Facebook, trying to get people to buy cars on finance and whatnot. Anyhow, one of the adverts got took down last week because that's not, I hadn't done the advert correctly or something. So then Saturday, when we got there really late, so a flight left at 9:30, got to Krakow about like 2:00 in the morning, and when you're just messing about on your telephone, get in bed and that, just mess about on my telephone, knackered. I should have just put the phone away, but I didn't. And a message came up on Messenger saying your account is going to get shut down in the next 24 hours. A couple of years ago, my account did get shut down by Facebook because of someone tried to hack into it. So because I was tired, I thought, oh God, it's the same thing happening again. And I was like, I don't want to lose my account again. So I just clicked on the link and it said, put your account name in and put your password in. And I put it in. And then as soon as I put it in, I went, oh my God, what have I just done? What have I just done? Long story short, I had to change all my passwords. Couldn't get sleep all night because I was like, oh my God, I was checking the bank account. I was doing everything. Luckily, I did give him the wrong password. But it's easy enough to think, well, it could be this or it could be that, So next day I had to ring the bank. I've put my card on hold and all this sort of stuff. Because 3 years ago, someone did hack into my Facebook account and they basically bought $4,000 worth of Facebook ads. And that's what I thought was going to happen again. I thought, oh my God, $4,000 is going to come out the account again. So that was my stress at the weekend. It nearly spoiled my holiday, but I cancelled everything the day after and then it was okay. So, but what I'm trying to get is, this job we've got, where we are dealing with like big amounts of money and you've got to be so careful all the time, but we all make mistakes every now and again.
Yeah, didn't you pay your workshop with an extra zero on the end as well? Did you put that on the dealership?
Did you? Rather not talk about that. Yeah.
I've got some stuff you can buy, Dave.
Instead of giving the mechanic, instead of giving 1,400 quid, I give him 14 grand by accident last week. So it was a bad week last week.
Not for them.
I had one not that long ago. So basically, we've got a guy who watches the channel. He's a really nice bloke, and he has got the same name as a guy that works for me, bar one letter on the end. It's like an E on the end of their surname, which is Hardwick. He actually sold us a car. So I bought a car off of him. So he saved in my like payees. And then the guy that works for me was like, oh, I either had to pay him for something that he paid for or something. It was, I don't know, it was like 1,500 quid or something. It wasn't his wages. It was just either he was going off to pay for something and I wasn't going to, but whatever it was. So I was going through my phone and there it is. And I saw this name. And it didn't have the E on the end, but just didn't even think. And I was like, I didn't even remember there was another person with that same sort of name. I thought it must have just cut it off because it can't fit on the screen. So I sent it to him. Didn't think any more of it whatsoever. Even the guy I work for didn't say, oh, you haven't sent me that money, until like I got a Facebook message and he's like, so the reason you've sent me like 1,500 quid? And I was like, shit. I sent it to the wrong person. I'm so sorry, mate. Is there any chance you could send it back? And he did, but plenty of people would have just blocked me.
He probably thought, oh, Joe had a really nice touch on that car, and he's just given me a bit of extra to take.
What he actually said was something like, I hope that's not his wages, or I hope you're paying him more than that or something. Yeah, it's easily done, isn't it?
It really is. You've got to be so careful.
It is when there's so much going on. You've got transport company ringing you, they're picking up one, they've got another transport company picking up another. They're like, this needs paying for, that needs paying for. The transport companies never want to hang around. They just want to get on the road, don't they? And you're trying to pay for loads of things at once.
Definitely.
It's no wonder it happens quite.
Definitely. You've just got to slow down.
We got 2 different stocking companies for stock funding, and I sent the money to the wrong one, basically. And I was like, so I sent them like 15 grand or something. And I'm so, I could do without it, because you know it's going to take them forever to send that money back.
Yeah, definitely.
I just sent them an email like, sorry, I accidentally sent this to you. And I don't think I even got a reply. I just had to wait like 5 or 6 days. And then I was like, well, yeah, has that come in? And it has. Because I'll be so guilty as well. Just like, if that goes past a weak point, I'll just completely forget about it.
Yeah.
I would never normally forget 15 grand, but that's just the way my mind works.
I did the same. I was paying someone's finance off, and I think it was Jaguar Land Rover, and the reference number had saved from the last time I'd paid them. And so I just went through the process, paid however much it was, sent it, thought nothing of it. And then they're like, we've never got confirmation that payment's gone through. And it was a nightmare to try and turn it all around, because the reference number was totally wrong, but the amount was perfect. You bring it in, oh no, we can't find it. She definitely had it. And I think sometimes companies like that sometimes use it to their advantage, don't they? And they go, well, you've made a mess up there, mate, so we'll just drag this out and keep hold of that money. So, yeah, but it's easy done, this job, isn't it? Because you're just constantly moving big amounts of money around, and it's quite scary, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, we don't even think about, like, in a day you'll spend, like, I bought 3 cars yesterday, and spent, I don't know, like 35 grand or something, which is like 1 car for Rob, if that, a cheap car for Rob. But
yeah, runabout.
Still, yeah, that's if you're doing like 35, 50 grand or whatever in a day, like every day, people would be having nervous breakdowns. But for some reason, just because we're so used to it,
I think it's like Jamie Cable said once. I think he said it's just like playing a game. Really,
Yeah.
You've got to treat it as money, because it is important, obviously. But it is like playing the game. You're just moving stuff here, there, and
yeah, it's just numbers on a screen, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, definitely.
As long as the number doesn't start with a minus, which
That's it.
Right.
You know, when you make that mistake, like your heart is in your bloody. Like I was shaking on Saturday. It was absolutely awful, and it's just one of them things. Like, it's going to happen again, isn't it? Something like that is going to happen. How do you stop yourself from them things happening, though?